This is the story of Lauren Johansen, a 22-year-old nursing student whose life was tragically cut short. Her story is a stark illustration of love warped into obsession, of warnings unheeded, and of a young woman robbed of her future. We are left to grapple with the question, could Lauren's death have been prevented? Lauren Johansen was more than just a name on a tragic news report. She was a beloved daughter, a cherished sister, a loyal friend, and an aspiring nurse practitioner who dreamed of easing the suffering of others. Tragically, that future was stolen from her, leaving behind a void that can never be filled, a silence that screams for justice. Lauren's life, however, was not without its shadows. Beneath the surface of her seemingly idyllic existence lurked a danger she could never have anticipated, a threat that would ultimately extinguish her light. The stage was set for a tragedy that would shatter Lauren's world and leave an enduring scar on those who loved her. The first chilling foreshadowing of the nightmare to come unfolded on December 7, 2023. Lauren and Bryson had embarked on what was supposed to be a romantic getaway to Nashville, Tennessee, a chance to escape the routine of their lives and reconnect. Instead, the trip became a terrifying ordeal, exposing the depths of Bryson's rage and the danger that lurked beneath his carefully constructed facade. Unbeknownst to Bryson, Lauren had managed to activate the voice recorder on her phone during the assault. The recording, a chilling testament to the terror that unfolded that night, captured 11 minutes of Bryson's rage, his threats echoing in the darkness as Lauren desperately pleaded for her life. The 11-minute recording became a crucial piece of evidence in the case against Bryson Rivers. Following the harrowing ordeal, Lauren, battered and bruised but alive, managed to escape Bryson's clutches. She immediately reported the assault to the Nashville Police Department, providing them with the chilling audio recording that corroborated her account. However, the road to justice is rarely straightforward, and for Lauren Johansen it would prove to be a treacherous path. In the aftermath of the Nashville attack, Lauren and her family placed their trust in the legal system, believing that it would protect her and hold Bryson accountable for his actions. But their hope would soon morph into agonizing despair as the system they relied on began to crumble around them. The system, designed to protect victims like Lauren, was failing her in the most fundamental way. On June 5, 2024, Judge Cheryl Blackburn made a decision that would have dire consequences. She reduced Bryson Rivers' bond from $250,000 to $150,000. Despite the overwhelming evidence of his violent nature, his clear disregard for the law, and the very real threat he posed to Lauren's safety, the judge deemed a lower bond amount sufficient. The stage was set for a tragedy, a consequence of a system that had failed to protect the innocent and had unwittingly unleashed a predator back into the world. As part of his release conditions, Bryson Rivers was required to wear a GPS ankle monitor, a technological tether meant to track his movements and provide a semblance of security for Lauren. But even this minimal safeguard proved to be an empty promise, a cruel illusion of safety. The system designed to protect her had instead left her exposed, a pawn in a deadly game orchestrated by a man driven by obsession and rage. On July 1, 2024, 1 week after Bryson Rivers' release, a chilling phone call shattered the fragile peace that had settled over Lauren's family. Dr. Robert Johansen, Lauren's father, received a voicemail from the Davidson County District Attorney's Office, a message that would send a wave of fear and anger through his veins. Without a moment's hesitation, Dr. Johansen called Lauren, his voice thick with urgency and fear. News of Lauren's disappearance spread like wildfire, engulfing Hattiesburg in a wave of fear and uncertainty. Law enforcement agencies from across the region converged on Hattiesburg, launching a massive manhunt for Bryson Rivers. The search for Bryson Rivers became a race against time, a desperate attempt to prevent another tragedy. On July 2, 2024, the day after Dr. Johansen received that fateful call from the district attorney's office, Lauren's sister made a chilling discovery that sent a wave of terror through their family. Arriving at Lauren's home, she found the front door ajar, a sight that immediately set off alarm bells in her mind. The house, usually filled with Lauren's vibrant energy, stood eerily silent, the air thick with a sense of foreboding. As she cautiously stepped inside, her heart pounding in her chest, Lauren's sister noticed signs of a struggle. The home security system, which Lauren meticulously maintained, lay deactivated, its wires severed, the display screen dark and lifeless. Furniture was overturned, belongings scattered across the floor, painting a chaotic scene that suggested a desperate struggle had taken place. Panic surged through her as she called out for Lauren, her voice echoing through the empty house. But there was no answer, only an eerie silence that amplified her growing fear. The realization hit her like a physical blow. Lauren was gone. Trembling, Lauren's sister dialed 911, her voice shaking as she relayed the horrifying details to the dispatcher. Every second that passed felt like an eternity, each tick of the clock amplifying the dread that gnawed at her insides. The frantic search for Lauren Johansen had begun, a race against time to find a young woman who had vanished without a trace. As the manhunt for Bryson Rivers intensified, investigators uncovered a trail of evidence that painted a chilling picture. Credit card receipts and surveillance footage revealed a desperate flight from justice, leading south towards the Gulf Coast. The trail led to Gulfport, Mississippi, a place that held dark memories for Lauren. It was a haunting realization. Bryson was returning to a place he knew. The focus shifted to Gulfport, now the center of a nationwide manhunt. The agonizing search for Lauren Johansen reached a tragic conclusion on July 3, 2024, in a desolate cemetery on the outskirts of Gulfport, Mississippi. Acting on a tip from a local resident who recognized Bryson Rivers from news reports, police converged on the cemetery, their hearts heavy with a grim sense of foreboding. There, parked beneath the shade of a weeping willow tree, they found Lauren's car, its windows fogged, its exterior dusty from the long drive. A sense of dread washed over the officers as they approached the vehicle, their every instinct screaming that they were about to uncover something horrific. Inside the car, concealed beneath a pile of clothes and trash bags, lay Lauren Johansen's lifeless body. She had been brutally murdered, her body bearing the marks of a savage and merciless attack. The young woman who had dedicated her life to healing others, who had radiated kindness and compassion, had been silenced in the most horrific way imaginable. The discovery of Lauren's body sent shockwaves of grief and outrage through Hattiesburg and beyond. The community that had rallied behind the Johansen family, that had prayed for Lauren's safe return, was now united in their grief, their hearts broken by the senseless loss of a young life full of promise. The fight to find Lauren was over, but the pursuit of justice for her murder had just begun. The discovery of Lauren's body sent shockwaves through the community, but it also ignited a fierce determination to bring her killer to justice. The manhunt for Bryson Rivers, already intense, escalated into a full-blown pursuit, with law enforcement agencies from multiple states working tirelessly to track him down. The break in the case came unexpectedly from an unlikely source, a homeless man who had encountered Bryson at a rest stop along a desolate stretch of highway. Recognizing Bryson from the wanted posters plastered across every gas station and billboard, the man contacted the authorities, providing a crucial lead that would finally bring Lauren's killer to justice. Acting swiftly on the tip, a SWAT team surrounded the gas station where Bryson had been spotted, their movements precise and coordinated, their faces grim masks of determination. The air crackled with tension as officers moved in, their weapons drawn, their voices echoing through the night air, demanding Bryson's surrender. After a tense standoff, Bryson Rivers, exhausted, defeated, and realizing the futility of resistance, surrendered to authorities. The man who had terrorized Lauren, who had stolen her future and shattered the lives of those who loved her, was finally apprehended, his reign of terror brought to an end by the long arm of the law. The trial of Bryson Rivers captivated the nation, highlighting the devastating consequences of domestic violence. The prosecution presented a compelling case with chilling audio, eyewitness accounts, and GPS data. Lauren's loved ones shared emotional testimonies, remembering her vibrant life. The jury found Bryson Rivers guilty on all counts. Bryson Rivers would now face the consequences of his actions. The judge sentenced him to life in prison without parole. Section 3. A Legacy of Loss, Navigating Life After Lauren. The community of Hattiesburg came together to mourn Lauren Johansen, celebrate her life, and question if her death could have been prevented. Her murder sparked a conversation about domestic violence and the need for greater protection for victims. Dr. Johansen became a vocal advocate, raising awareness and pushing for legislative reforms. He established the Lauren Johansen Foundation to support victims and advocate for stricter laws. The foundation became a beacon of hope, a testament to Lauren's spirit, and a reminder of the power of compassion and change. Section 1. Unveiling the horror inside Lauren's car. The stifling air inside Lauren's car hung heavy with the stench of decay, a gruesome testament to the evil that had unfolded within its confines. The once familiar scent of Lauren's favorite vanilla air freshener was overwhelmed by the overpowering odor of death, a nauseating reminder of the precious life that had been extinguished. As the first responders cautiously peeled back the layers of sheets and trash bags that concealed Lauren's body, a collective gasp of horror escaped their lips. The sight that greeted them was nothing short of horrific, a testament to the depths of depravity that can reside within the human heart. Lauren's once vibrant features were obscured by a mask of bruises, her skin discolored, her eyes closed in eternal sleep. The brutality inflicted upon her was evident in every mark, every laceration, every contusion that marred her once flawless skin. The silence inside the car was deafening, broken only by the muffled sobs of the officers who had gathered around the grim scene. The weight of their discovery, the realization that they had arrived too late to save Lauren, hung heavy in the air, a suffocating blanket of grief and despair. Section 2. The Brutality of Obsession, Evidence of a Savage Attack. Every inch of Lauren's body bore witness to the savage attack she endured. The forensic team meticulously documented the scene, capturing horrifying details of Bryson's brutality. The autopsy report detailed the extent of Lauren's injuries, painting a gruesome picture of her final moments. Multiple blunt force traumas were noted, consistent with repeated blows. Defensive wounds spoke of her desperate struggle. The violence was personal, fueled by rage and control. Lauren Johansen was the victim of a brutal murder. Her death serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked obsession. A community united in grief and outrage. The news of Lauren Johansen's murder reverberated through Hattiesburg, leaving a community reeling. The idyllic image of their small town was shattered, replaced by grief, anger, and disbelief. The collective outpouring of grief was palpable. Flowers, candles, and notes piled up outside Lauren's home, transforming her doorstep into a makeshift memorial. The brutal nature of Lauren's death sparked a wave of outrage, a collective cry for justice. People from all walks of life found their voices, demanding answers, accountability, and change. Section 2. Ripple Effects, a call for justice and systemic change. The pursuit of justice for Lauren Johansen extended far beyond the courtroom. He became a tireless advocate for victims' rights and systemic change. Lawmakers introduced legislation to strengthen domestic violence laws. The ripple effects of Lauren's case extended far beyond Hattiesburg. The Lauren Johansen Foundation became a beacon of hope for survivors of domestic violence. Remembering Lauren, a life that continues to inspire. Lauren Johansen's memory inspires acts of kindness, compassion, and courage. Her story reminds us that even in dark times, the human spirit can endure and heal. A scholarship in her name supports students who embody her spirit of caring and dedication. Lauren's legacy continues to inspire future generations of caregivers. Her story sparks conversations about healthy relationships and recognizing abuse. Community leaders educate young people to break the cycle of silence and create a culture of respect. Lauren's legacy is defined by the lives she touched with her kindness and spirit. Her story, rooted in heartbreak, testifies to the power of the human spirit to inspire change.